Google Checker. It's one of the good platforms to use here, especially that the students are very fond of searching online through Google.
With ASEAN Digital Literacy Program, awareness can be nurtured as a community movement.
Những cái giá trị tốt đẹp của chương trình kỹ năng số ASEAN sẽ được lan tỏa rộng rãi hơn đến tất cả các thầy cô giáo cũng như là các học sinh trên phạm vi cả nước Việt Nam cũng như là nhiều quốc gia hơn để chúng ta.
Dengan adanya ADLP, ada kejadian bencana dan ada banyak pihak yang mendukung, akhirnya kita menemukan metode baru sebetulnya. Dan materi-materinya jadi semakin kuat.
As we enter the digital world, I do hope that we can create more master trainers to reach the unreachable, to transform them, to be responsible digital citizen.
We have to continue promoting digital literacy as a basic skill that every Filipino or everyone in the world should have.
It's time to move forward and hand in hand as one communities and create a safer digital space in ASEAN region.
Through the ASEAN Digital Literacy Program, people of ASEAN become agents of change, armed with the knowledge and skills to be aware and prevent misinformation and disinformation from spreading. In a world where information is power, the ASEAN Digital Literacy Program is lighting the way, inspiring hope and building a brighter, more informed future for ASEAN people.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite everybody to a designated seat as the event will begin shortly. Thank you.
Good morning to everyone and welcome to the AI Opportunity Southeast Asia Forum.
Our digital economies, which was valued at $200 billion in 2020s, is projected to soar past $1 trillion in 2030s. However, achieving this ambitious goal requires more than just investment in infrastructures.
Today, I'm very pleased to be here to make two announcements that build on Google's investments in the region and focus on ensuring that people throughout the region have access to the training and the skills to benefit from the opportunities available with AI. At Google, we view AI as an extraordinary generational opportunity.
A more inclusive and equitable AI governance framework is necessary to ensure that all nations are involved in shaping the rules, norms, and ethical standards that will guide AI development to meet the diverse needs and values of the global communities.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the ASEAN anthem.
Praise our flag, Christ thy high, embrace the pride in our heart.
you. Please be seated. Before we proceed with the next agenda, please join us in watching a special video presentation on the AI Ready ASEAN program.
AI is shaping the future of digital transformation across ASEAN.
ASEAN has played a pivotal role in coordinating efforts to create a more inclusive AI ecosystem for its member states, and should continue to champion this mission to ensure equitable AI development.
However, with ASEAN countries at varying stages of readiness, the rapid rise of AI brings unique challenges that each nation must tackle in its own way. That's where AI Ready ASEAN steps in, helping everyone in ASEAN adapt to and benefit from AI. With support from Google.org, the ASEAN Foundation is implementing AI Ready ASEAN to empower the AI literacy of 5.5 million people in ASEAN, focusing on the youth, educators, and parents.
We'll train 2,000 master trainers and reach 800 people with hands-on AI learning, along with an awareness-raising campaign on AI, organize regional and national convenings, publish a regional-scale research on AI, and launch an e-learning platform through the AI Resource Hub for easy access, anytime, anywhere.
We can ensure no one is left behind in this exciting tech revolution. Let's get AI ready together!
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the AI Ready ASEAN, the first regional policy convening. My name is Iqbal Darmawan, and I will be your master of ceremony for today's event. Ladies and gentlemen, artificial intelligence, or AI, is reshaping how we live, work, and learn. Its transformative power has the potential to address some of the region's most complex challenges. From strengthening public health and boosting disaster resilience. At these occasions, we are honored to invite the following esteemed leaders to join His Excellency Nararia S. Suprapto on stage for the symbolic coin drop to officially launch the program. His Excellency Ambassador Bofoneta Duongchak, Chair of the Board of Trustees of the ASEAN Foundation and Permanent Representative of the Lao PDR to ASEAN, Dr. Piti Sri Sangnam, Executive Director of the ASEAN Foundation, Ibu Putri Alam, Director of Government Affairs and Public Policy of Google Indonesia, and Her Excellency Stella Christie, Vice Minister of Higher Education, Science and Technology of Indonesia. So for this ceremony, I would like to invite Dr. Piti Sri Sangnam and also Ibu Putri Alam to hold the coins as the symbol of our kick-off of today's AI Ready ASEAN program. So this ceremony will begin by inserting the coin inside of the totem, and we are going to count this together on my mark. Ladies and gentlemen, let's count from 3, 2, 1, and we are officially kick off the AI Ready ASEAN program here in Nusantara Hall of the ASEAN Secretariat. We hope that this symbolic gesture mark the beginning of an impactful collaboration and innovation for a future where AI benefits all the ASEAN. Excellencies, please remain on stage for a group photo. Now we would like to also invite the rest of the members of the Board of Trustees of the ASEAN Foundation and Her Excellency's Ambassador Natercia Cibrana Colho da Silva to also join us on stage after the group photos from the VIPs. I would like to once again invite the rest of the members of the Board of Trustees of the ASEAN Foundation and Her Excellency's Ambassador Natercia Cibriana Colho da Silva to join us on stage for the group photos. We're going to take the first pose, and that is the formal pose of the pictures. And later we will be taking another pose of the ASEAN way. All right, are we ready to take the first pose? Yes, 3, 2, 1 on the camera. All right, absolutely fantastic. Next is going to be the pose for ASEAN ways. Ladies and gentlemen, you can cross your arms, the right arms over the left arms. Yes, fantastic. All right, are we ready to take our photos? In 3, 2, 1. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for all of the VIPs and the Board of Trustees. You may return to your seat. Wow, so this was the official kickoff of our today's AI Ready ASEAN, that we as the citizen of ASEAN are going to be reshaping how we live, work, and learn, and the transformative power on the potential as well as the benefits of AI to all of the sectors in ASEAN. Ladies and gentlemen, now it is our honor to welcome Her Excellency Stella Christie, the Vice Minister of Higher Education, Science and Technology of Indonesia, to deliver her keynote remarks. Your Excellencies, time is yours.
Good morning. His Excellency Ambassador Bovontat Tuangchak, Chair of Board of Trustees of ASEAN Foundation. His Excellency Nararya Suprapto, Deputy Secretary General for ASEAN for Community and Corporate Affairs. Ms. Putri Alam, Director of Government Affairs and Public Policy of Google Indonesia. Dr. Piti Srisangnam, Executive Director of the ASEAN Foundation Permanent Representatives of the ASEAN member states to ASEAN ambassadors of ASEAN dialogue partners to ASEAN, representatives of AI Ready ASEAN local implementing partners, many honorable ambassadors, honorable speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. Okay. I think, should I be using this one or, yeah, okay, great. I first want to thank the invitation to speak here today. I think we all know that thinking about AI and particularly about the policy about AI that is specifically for our region, in the region of ASEAN, is truly important. And I have, I think, roughly 10 minutes today, so I'm not going to take much more than that, but I want to speak about how should we be thinking about when we think about policy today. And I understand that many of you will be actually discussing it in depth, and that's something that's very encouraging, and we look forward to having the results. So when we think about the policy, one thing that I think really key is thinking about how we can balance between regulations and progress. On the one side, we must have regulations that limit a certain thing. Limiting things are not always bad. Limiting things can actually mean progress. And I want to take this opportunity to highlight an event that has been talked about in many different ways and in the minds of everybody, which is the appearance of DeepSeek. But one thing that I think hasn't been highlighted that much about DeepSeek is a very interesting phenomena where many scientists, including some of my colleagues and friends, some of you may know that I actually work as a scientist at Tsinghua University in China before I take the position as the Vice Minister of Higher Education, Science and Technology. So some of my colleagues are actually directly involved in that, in a DeepSeek. And one thing that's very interesting that hasn't been highlighted that much is that DeepSeek actually comes out of constraint, out of limitation. There are some things that cannot be bought in China, and some of these constraints actually spur new innovation. So this pattern or this phenomena is something that's very highly occurring in any scientific discoveries and technological discoveries and progress. So constraints can sometimes actually gives out innovations. So in thinking about policy, the same notion needs to be there. We have to balance between regulation and progress. Safety and security is extremely important. But on the other hand, we need to balance that safety and security in such a way that it doesn't limit innovation. It doesn't limit progress. And I want to take this opportunity to first study the many different models, so to speak, about this balancing of regulation and progress. My key point here is that you will see that there are different models. So for example, in this page, I have categorized it that there are things like really risk-based regulation. So this is done by the European Union mostly, so they're actually quite strong on thinking about the risks and regulations based on risks. But we also have a model that is about investment incentives. So this is mostly done in China, where there is strong regulations in China as well, but there is quite a big focus on giving incentives. So the government is giving incentives. We also know about the model of regulatory sandboxes. An example of this is done by the UK government. And we also know about governance of data, thinking about how we can secure data, and this might be a focus of some other regulations. Okay? So these are just some examples that I categorize into a couple of different models. My thinking about it is we need to understand the many different models of balance between regulations and progress. I also look at a number of regulations. I don't need you to read every single one of them. I have done my homework, or technically my team has done the homework. When invited by to speak here, of course we need to understand how do the other countries do it. I think this is a very important homework, and I'm sure that all of you will be discussing it at depth, because looking at what the others have done is quite crucial, in my opinion, so that we can actually really decide what's best for ASEAN. So one of the key recurring patterns, if you see the middle column that say the key points, you will see that the words will actually exemplify things like balance between regulations and progress. So some countries, like some policies, there are many, even like 2 policies within that country that will talk about regulations for one policy, and we'll talk more about progress and innovation by giving incentives in the other in the other one. Their examples go on and go on after this. And this is quite something that we have, my team have actually gathered and focused on these to understand, again, the balance between regulations and progress. So this data is actually quite interesting, especially when you take a look at how each country and each region, actually, given that we are talking about ASEAN, is balancing between these regulations and progress. And of course, this balancing between regulation and progress have to be based on the current data, like what does that region currently has. So maybe it's not very surprising that in the European Union, in Europe, the focus on the regulatory is quite strong, given the cultural policy that is there. So again, there's like more data. You don't have to read it by one, but it is a very interesting look on how countries and regions are actually balancing between regulations and progress. So of course, the key point that I want to talk about today is that very question for us, for ASEAN. How can we balance between regulations and progress for ASEAN? And there are, I'm sure, a number of questions, a number of angles and perspectives that one must tackle in order to answer these questions holistically. But today, as Vice Minister of Higher Education, Science and Technology, I want to focus on giving an answer of thinking about the policy of education, an educational policy that can eventually balance between regulation and progress, specifically for ASEAN. So on the how question, I actually want to highlight the words that I see in the very core of the narration of this event. So the two words that I see in this event is readiness and responsibility. Readiness for ASEAN, the ASEAN AI Ready, I think that's one of the name of the program, but also the highlight of responsibility. So this actually truly is the how. We have to make the people, we're talking about every single individuals in ASEAN, to be ready and also